Hello all you studio artists, I'm back again with another tutorial live from Mr. Granlund Studios here in Comfy North High School. Today we're going to be doing some simple shaded forms. So this assignment is an application of the previous one. So in the last assignment we made a shading scale, and now we're going to apply that shading scale to some simple shapes and turn those into forms. So just as a reminder, I'm going to pull out my value scale, and we have it going from dark to light. And what we want to do is we want to use these values and apply them, like how does this work when light is shining on an object. So to start off with, we want to make a horizon line. So if you pretend that this is the floor, and then this above the line is like the wall behind it. Okay, so it's kind of a fictional space. I'm going to draw my lines a little bit darker so that you can see them on the video, but I want you to draw your lines very light. Okay, so what I'm demonstrating by drawing really dark and heavy is not a good way to do it. Okay, all right, so let's think about which side is the light coming from, right or left. So I'm going to put just a little sun in the corner to let me know that the light is coming from here. And now I'm going to draw a shape, kind of a nice big size, so that it goes from the ground and above this line, so like this. Now if you have something like a cup or something that you can trace, you can use that. And you're going to want to trace this very light. Like if I was doing this, I would make my line about that light. Okay? Now because I'm doing a demonstration video, I'm going to make my line darker so that you can see it. Okay? So there's my shape, and I'm going to erase this out. Okay. Now if the light was coming from here, this part right here would be like pure white. And then you get a little bit, so light, dark, very shadowy, and then there would be like a little light reflection here. So the light is going to come from here and hit here. It's going to hit the ground, and it's also going to cast a shadow. So if you think about it, we draw a straight line from our light source till it hits the edge of our object. That is roughly where our shadow is. Okay? And then it's sitting on the table right here. So our shadow is going to go right there. Now I actually wouldn't do an outline like this or anything. I'm just drawing these so that you can see where things are going to go. When we learn how to shade, what we're really trying to do is hide all of these heavy, thick outlines. So in cartoons, they draw the outline, but we want to learn how to shade. So actually we don't want these, okay? Well, we're going to start in this core shadow area, which is going to be the darkest area here. I'm just going to start building up some values, which means I'm coloring in, okay? I'm coloring in light, and as I get towards here, I'm going to get lighter and lighter. And then this area right here, the darker area, is going to be the darkest. And what I'm doing is I'm doing loops. So like we did in the shaded practice, the value scale, we have these overlapping loops. Okay, so I filled in this whole area, and now I'm going to make it darker in areas. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to hide this line here. And even this line would actually get lighter as it goes up this way. And it's okay to use your eraser a little bit. Okay, so now we have a light spot, it gets darker, and then it gets a little bit lighter on the edge on the back side, because actually the light reflects up off the table a little bit. And then underneath we have a shadow, and it's going to be dark here, and as it goes out away from it, it's going to get lighter. So kind of like that. So we're going to Alright, so now we have a sphere, okay? And so this is a basic shape of a circle. And what I want you to do is 1 to 3 basic forms. So basic forms include a sphere, a cube, okay? So to do a cube, you're just going to draw a square, and then we're going to come up that way a little bit. And actually, because it goes up above the horizon line, it's going to get angled down a little bit. We can also do a cone. And then the bottom of the cone is like that. Or you can do a pyramid. So a pyramid, start with the triangle. And then we're going to draw like one of these angled lines. And then we're going to match that to that. It's kind of a weird looking pyramid. But what you want to do is shade them with the same idea. So we want to think about the light is coming here. So it's lightest here, and then it's darkest here. And then this is in shadow too. Okay? For the pyramid here, you know, it's lightest here, and then it's darkest here. I'm just doing rough shading so that you can kind of get an idea of what it looks like. And then for a cone, okay, it's going to be kind of lightest here, and then it's going to be darkest on the opposite side. And since it crosses this horizon line here, make sure that you erase that out. Okay, so now that we have, and this is very roughly done, I want yours to be a lot more thorough. You can see that like mine is very, very scratchy, and you don't want these scratchy lines in here. I'm getting these scratchy lines because I'm going back and forth. I'm not making my loops. That's enough. Okay. So there's a couple of things that we need to be concerned about. We need to be concerned about the shadows that are coming off of these things so that they're hitting the floor. Like that. And so we shade underneath them. And remember, you only need 1 to 3 simple forms, okay? And this is just a practice to help us understand, like, how does shading turn something into something that looks dimensional, and just practice that. So if it is a little rough, kind of like mine is, it's okay. It's more about the understanding. Okay. Okay. The other thing that we want to do is we want to add some shading around these shapes to actually get rid of this line. So we see this as a bright area because of the contrast behind it. So I have this line right here, and I want to kind of hide that by shading that line like that. So I'm just lightly taking my pencil and just kind of shading behind it, so that there's a contrast between the wall and the shape. Now I don't have to fill in the whole wall, but it helps to understand. It helps us understand what's going on to hide those lines. Like, this is how you hide the lines. As you kind of like spread those lines out through shading. So in this part here where it's kind of lighter, the wall's going to be darker than it. And what this does is it gives your picture more contrast and makes it look more dramatic. So this line right here, I'm going to kind of shade that upward like that. You can just shade in enough to show that you understand the concept of kind of spreading this line out. And what we're learning is we're learning how to change the amount of pressure that we push against the page as we're moving our pencil. So we can easily push harder and darker, or softer and lighter as we need to, without picking it up or readjusting. You know, we're getting that hand control in there. Once you're done, snap a picture and turn it in.